Hi there. Do you want to become a millionaire in Kenya through business? Watch the entire of this video because I'm going to discuss in details 10 business ideas which you could look to jump into for you to be able to work and become a millionaire in Kenya. We all appreciate that there has been a liquidity issue in the country, in that money is not circulating and reaching people's pocket as it used to before. The economy has become tough and tough, more so in the recent times. Guys, are you feeling the pinch? Are you seeing that, for example, money is not circulating? You are not getting the most of money as you used to get before. If that's the case, drop a comment down below. Share with us your thoughts, even as we look at these 10 business ideas, which you can look to jump into and be able to become rich or even so a multi-millionaire in Kenya. You are all much welcomed to the Money Daily TV. My name is Afagza Sifunam. And with that, the very first business idea which you could look to jump into for you to be able to make money is the idea of you doing organic farming and actually infusing that with home deliveries. Look here, guys. We all appreciate that Kenya is an agricultural country. Of course, the other sectors out there, like for example, the service sector, manufacturing, you name it, have also advanced in recent times. But the truth is that Kenya is an agricultural country. And with the rise of different diseases out there, talk about non-communicable diseases, etc., more and more Kenyans are becoming conscious of what they eat, right? We're seeing, for example, Kenyans out there preferring to eat mayai kienyeji, preferring to eat organic vegetables. Guys, you can tap into that. Be an organic farmer and you're going to end up making money. I know you might be sitting there arguing, for example, I don't have hundreds of acres. I don't have thousands of acres out there to do farming. You don't need to have a ton of land for you to be a farmer. And even it's way better, you can practice with a small piece of land, or even, guys, from the comfort of your balcony. You can do some small scale farming, practice, harness that skill, know how well you can be able to plant and nurture your plants, and be sure you're going to be able to make money. You can start small, even, guys, with, for example, a small room. You could even become a mushroom farmer and then see how you transit your product to the market, and be sure you're going to be able to make money. Because the reality is that each and every day out there, people require items to eat. Hotels out there require stocks and stocks of food. Start and be sure you're going to be in business in no time. More so, if you infuse each and every lesson into your farming, you're going to become a very good farmer in no time. Okay? And then, guys, the second business idea which you could look to jump into and be able to make money is the idea of you doing car washing and detailing services. I don't talk more about these, guys. We all see the increase in the number of motor vehicles in our Kenyan roads. More and more Kenyans out there are owning motor vehicles. We're talking about there being tens and tens of millions of vehicles on the roads in Kenya each and every year. That tells you these cars need a form of maintenance, whether it is daily or even weekly car wash, okay? Whether it is detailing to ensure that these cars are in good shape, or even so in the shape which the owners desire. And that presents an opportunity. If, for example, guys, you have a little space, or you can afford money to rent out a little space, you could look to jump in this particular business, and be sure it's the kind of business which has low cost and also very high returns. I have a few friends out there who are doing car wash business, and be sure they are making awesome amount of money. More so if you are based in an urban area, or even so a busy highway, a busy road. I have friends who are based in urban areas who are even doing car wash within residentials, and be sure they are raking in some amount of money. And even, for example, over the weekend, there are some who even are raking in tens and tens of thousands in a single day from car wash business. You could look to jump into it and be sure you're going to be able to make amazing amount of money. And the awesome part about this business is that its startup cost is not that insanely high. You need very little amount of money for you to get into car wash business. Once you sorted out space, for example, you having somewhere between even 100,000, 200,000 Kenya shillings, you're gonna be able to start with the basic of kits, which will require, and be sure you're gonna be able to be in amazing business. Okay? And then the third business idea, which you could look to jump into and also be able to make money in Kenya, is the idea of you being in the pet business. Guys, people out here are embracing pets as time goes by. Whether you're talking about dogs, cats, you name it. You can be in the business of selling pets, nurturing pets, ensuring they are breeding, and then over time you can be able to sell these pets, you grooming pets, training pets, you name it. Any business which goes with pets, guys, be sure you can also be able to make money. Of course, not every Kenyan out there own a pet, but those who own pets appreciate the importance of having pets in good shape. Whether it is ensuring their health is of the top-notch health, whether it is ensuring that they're optimally trained, you name it. Guys, this kind of business which most people out there don't look at it like a lucrative business, but believe you me, this business has money in it, more so once you build a clientele pool. I don't know, guys. Have you ever worked in these different places in country? For example, worked in Karen, Lavington, and other posh estates out there. Sometimes you see even a banner saying there is someone who's looking for a dog trainer. Okay, there are dog trainers out there who are putting out there their adverts for people who have these pets to be able to contact them so that their pets can be able to be trained and be in the state which the owners desire. If you are passionate about pets, why not look at this particular kind of business? And the amazing thing about this business is that also it is a low cost kind of business, which over time can be able to give you amazing amount of returns. Okay? And then guys, the fourth business idea which you could look to jump into is the idea of you caring for the elderly. What do I mean? We all appreciate that Kenya has an interesting population. Of course, we know the median age in Kenya is somewhere in the early 20s, okay? But that aside, we also have a substantial old elderly population in the country. All those people are, for example, past the age of 60, 70, 80, and then they're having difficulties doing daily activities of living. Guys, you can be able to bridge this gap. To give you an example, maybe there is a family which has elderly parents who are staying up country. All the youth in that particular family are working maybe within Kenya in urban centers or even so in other countries. These parents require someone to care for them. You could be in that kind of business, whether it is you individually caring for them because of your specialist skills, whether, for example, you are a nurse or in other skills out there, or even because you are available and you are a kind of person who they trust, or even beyond, you can take that a notch higher by even, for example, starting an agency which is focused on caring for the elderly. And be sure you're gonna be able to make amazing amount of money. Reason being, each and everybody out there desire for their guardians, their parents to lead healthy lives, to be healthy and be happy in life even as they continue aging. And with that, it tells you that family members out there are willing to pay for their elderly parents or even guardians to be able to be okay. So jump in that particular space and be sure you're gonna be able to make amazing amount of money. And of course, as another business out there, look at the requirements for you to get in such a space, more so if you are dealing with an elderly sick person. So that also you don't assume responsibility of medics. But guys, that notwithstanding, you can be able to make amazing amount of money through caring for the elderly. Okay? And then the fifth business idea which you could look to jump into is the idea of you selling second-hand clothes or mitumba business, but with a twist to it. We all appreciate that mitumba business has been a booming business in Kenya for the longest. Regardless of the town you are in, whether it is an urban center, a rural area, we all see a good chunk of Kenyans out there selling mitumba business in the street, selling second-hand clothes, and even guys selling even shoes, second-hand shoes out there. And these people are in business because there are customers who are keeping them afloat. What if you jump in this particular space and then have a twist to it? It could be a simple thing as, for example, having a branded shop. As opposed to, for example, selling out there in the street, putting your clothes down there and just identity to that particular business. What if you have a branded shop? And we've all seen this in Kenya, for example, We have Think Twice and even other clothing business out there who are selling amazing kind of clothes and having a brand name to it. You can also start your own brand name for second-hand business clothes and be able to be in business. Or even so, you can specialize in a given type of second-hand clothes. Instead of selling everything, you could, for example, sell only children's second-hand clothes. And with that, you can be able to also make money. Okay? And then, guys, the sixth business idea which you could look to jump into and be able to also make insane amount of money is the idea of you doing renewable energy business. And with that, I mean anything renewable energy. Talk about solar, etc. Kenyans are becoming more appreciative of renewable energy solutions. That's why we even see, for example, people constructing houses out there and installing solar right away because Kenyans are becoming more and more cognizant of these solutions. And with that, you can be able to also get into very big business. Look at, for example, the number of houses being built out there. Look at, for example, people out there who are frustrated, for example, by the national utility, and they are looking to jump onto solar energy. You can be the provider of that. Whether you are a broker for a big company or even so, going out there by yourself to start your own business in case you have know-how around electricity, electric connections, or even so how to install solar. Even if you don't have that particular skill, you can learn and start it and be sure you can be able to make money because a lot of Kenyans out there are also looking to jump into that particular solution and they are keen to see how they can make money. Okay? And then, guys, the seventh business idea which you could look to jump into and be able to make money in Kenya is the idea of you providing tech solutions. We're talking about there being a ton of technology startups out there. For example, in the fintech space, basically financial space. Talk about education technology. Talk about e-commerce, etc. We're talking about a market which is going to continue growing over time. Not all Kenyans are connected to the internet, and this only means that over time, this market space is going to continue improving and improving over time. Why not get into this particular space? Think about a unique solution which you can be able to develop for the market, and in case you have money, yet you're not a developer, also hire a developer to assist you develop, and then use that to enter the market. It could be in whichever area out there, as long as it is in the technology space. Be sure with proper planning, proper research, and even so good at getting good at what you're doing, be sure you can be able to make money through tech. Okay? And then, guys, the eighth solution which we look to jump into and be able to make money is this area of tourism. Okay? Tourism and hospitality business. By the way, I know, for example, a group of people out there who started very small doing tour guide business. Right now, they have huge tracts of land in the city which they're developing, they've jumped into real estate and expanded over time. You can think about it and see where to start. Start small. You can start a tours business, okay, and get in that particular space. Of course, people might argue out there, I can be able to start hospitality. Fair enough. Maybe you don't have the amount of money, for example, to start a 3-star, 4-star, 5-star hotel in a park out there, but you can also think about how you jump in that particular space. Simply by, for example, leasing a vehicle to be able to pick tourists from one destination to another. And then over time, think about how you can save to even get your own vehicle. Think about how you can be a broker between maybe tourists and even a hotel out there. And you're going to be able to make money. And that's so because even those hospitality hotels out there which are catering for tourists are also looking for business. If you can be able to get tourists to them, be sure you can be able to make a given amount of money. So think about hospitality and tourism sector is very big. You can be able to make money, just a matter of thinking, where do you fit? And then getting into it and be sure you can be able to make an awesome amount of money too. Okay? And then, guys, the ninth business idea which you could look to jump into and be able to make money is the idea of you jumping in the transport business. Of course, we all appreciate transport business requires some capital. Okay? Whether you're starting, for example, an Uber business or even any other ride-hailing services out there, whether you're getting into logistics, whether you're getting into matatu, all that requires money. But the amazing part is that people overestimate the amount of money it requires. To tell you guys, for example, you having even 1.5 million Kenya shillings, you can be able to get into the matatu sector. Okay? You having, for example, just a small amount of money, like even 50,000 Kenya shillings, you can be able to get a vehicle which you can put even in Uber business and then pay over time. At the end of the day, it's all about the amount of effort you're putting in, how hard you're working, how smart you're working to see that whatever you're jumping into is becoming a viable business. Think about it. If you're passionate about transport business, why not get in this particular space and then you can be able to make money over time because it is a space which is perpetually in demand. People have to move from one point to another, goods have to move from one point to another, and people need these services day in, day out. So you can think about it and be sure, guys, you're gonna be able to also make money. Okay? And then the 10th business idea which you could look to jump into and be able to also make money is the idea of you doing events planning, okay, and management. What do I mean? Out there, guys, actually each and every day, people are having events in Kenya. Each and every weekend, people, for example, having weddings, funerals, you name it. All these are events. And with that, there is those basic things to go into organizing any event, whether it is having tents, whether it is having chairs, whether it is the need to have an MC, you name it. You can package a given company or even a given solution which you can push out there to the market. For example, you could buy a given number of tents which you're gonna be hiring to people out there. You can have a good set of plastic chairs which you can be hiring to people out there. You can even do event management, end-to-end organization, getting public address systems, you name it. All these are solutions which go into events, and be sure if you can plan it very well, then there is nothing that can stop you. You're gonna be in very big business. Guys, those are 10 best ideas which you could look to jump into and be able to make money in this country and hopefully over months, hopefully over years, become a multi-millionaire. What do you all think about these business ideas? Drop a comment down below. Let's continue discussing. Cheers, guys, and you all stay safe.